Come on in. Let's talk about it. Greeting YouTubers. Greeting to all my favorite subscribers and to the subscribers I'm yet to win over. I'm sure sooner or later you're going to join in. But in the meantime, I'll sit here and wait patiently. I can get on my rant after about 3 people show up. And for those that are going to be late to the party, then, oh well, they just have to do their best to play catch up. Because I won't hold everybody too late this evening. I know I've gotten on here and had hour 52 minutes worth of ranting going on. But actually, time goes by fast when you get on the road. You know, when you just start running your mouth, time goes by fast. I guess that can be said to be true about when you go to a party. You spend all week preparing for that party and it seems like it's over like that. You know, so we'll just see. And if you're already on, give me a thumbs up or a simple hello and we can start this thing off. Because I don't see anybody as of yet. And like I say, I can patiently wait. And for those that are not on, well, they'll just have to play catch up. So let's just see how this thing goes. I had a fairly decent day. Ended up being off again today. Still not feeling that great. It's a lot of things, a combination of things got me a little down. I'm under the weather a little bit. But I'll make it. And I'll make it in tomorrow. Still dealing with the little sinus crap, which is hard to do when you're having sinus problems and your throat is scratchy and you get hot. So you got to turn the AC on. And then you got the AC on the situation going on too. So it's like, what do? Make yourself more miserable with all the heat? I don't know. We're going to end this one and start over fresh. Well, we go. One person's in so far. I was just about to end this thing. So a little late getting people to chime in. So if you're in, can I get a thumbs up or a simple hello? And we can start this ball rolling. Come on in, everybody. And, I'm not sure if my title kind of shine a few people away, but the title is the truth. It is what it is. I'll probably end up stopping this thing and starting it fresh. So if you're on, can I get a simple shout out, hello, or thumbs up? A lot of dead air is being created right now because I haven't seen anybody actively coming in yet. And I would rather not continue to sit here and have this dead air time. But anyway, like I said earlier, I ended up taking another day off. Still a bit under the weather. Guess I'll drag my sorry tail back to work tomorrow. It's just a combination of things just got me not feeling well right now. Which I don't want to get too deep into it. It'll work itself out, but it did take me out for a minute. But anyway, I'm back. How's everyone else doing? On this, I imagine it's still Wednesday afternoon. Taking medicine, I'm a little bit loopy on what day of the week it is, especially when you've been off for 2 days. You know, no disturbance, no emails, no nothing. When I say I took it easy and recovered, I took it easy just to recover. There's a lot of things that were going on. For those of you who don't know how this thing works, we typically don't get started on any particular subject until we see people on the other end. Come on, y'all been at this longer than I have. Y'all know how this thing works. Well, hi, Alex. That's one person. So I feel like we can get this ball rolling. I do apologize for the 5 minutes and 14 seconds of delay time. Nobody was in yet. So I do believe in waiting. I may go back in and edit this thing and edit out the 5 minutes. You know, I think that's what I'm going to start doing because I end up with a lot of dead time on the front end. So let's talk about this. And I won't be catering to any immaturity tonight. So that's why I always take my glasses off so I don't have to read the comments. Not all of you are being immature in comments. I'm just saying I'd rather not read them right now. So this whole thing with this Shannon Sharp situation, allegedly him and his buck wild text messages now, and this money situation and him possibly losing that $100 million contract. And for those of you that have watched some of my live YouTube videos, y'all notice some of the stuff I was already talking about. You know, all this buck wildness and this freakiness and all these things. Now, personally, I don't really believe he assaulted that young lady. And then everybody threw in the whole big deal with the age gap. But y'all, come on. A lot of y'all on here got just as many wild and nasty messages that you are sending and receiving. We already talked about how money plays a part in certain levels of activities when we have jump offs or side pieces, or how we try to keep our dark, hidden, most kinkiest lifestyles hidden out of public's eye. I do believe this lady had a motive, and I'm not throwing her under the bus or throwing any women under the bus. I'm just simply saying she put it out there in the text messages. She made it absolutely clear that those cheeks cost $25,000 each. She talked about her 2 cheeks. And even in the video of the audio rather of him talking to her about she's going to mess around and get choked to so many words. Y'all know what? That wasn't nothing but foreplay. You know, those of us that know, we know. When you're dealing with somebody like that and you're being that dominant force behind it, y'all know, you know, people that talk to you that way. And she trying to use that, or her attorney tricking her into using that, to saying that he made a threat. That wasn't a threat. That was a promise to give her something that she likes, something that she was charging. Yeah, that was a transactional. It was transactional. And the only big problem is, on the eve of him getting that $100 million contract, this whole big lawsuit just happened to surface. But I'm gonna tell y'all some trickery behind situations like this. And I'm not just talking about his situation. And if y'all don't know what's going on, it's Shannon Sharp. If you don't know what Shannon Sharp is, just look up Shay Shay, Club Shay Shay. Okay, y'all, if you don't know, then you need to know. But anyway, I'm gonna give y'all some for instances, not necessarily about this particular incident. It was a transactional situation, point blank. You know, she put it out there, and he accepted. He chased it down, and now that he's about to sign this big mega million dollar contract, she wants to capitalize on it. Now, even in this situation, let's just take it off away from the limelight. In most cases, when you have this kind of situation going on, okay, let's just say she is 20 and he's in his 50s, whole another isolated case. Chances are he's not her only trick. She's probably got two or three tricks. And I just recorded a video about the same thing. And out of those 2 or 3 tricks that she has, one of her tricks is behind a lot of this stuff with her. He's helping her to orchestrate this. Oh, you should hit him in the pocket. He about to get all this money and things of that nature. Now, what makes me think she may have several tricks, because if she's going after money like that, trust me, she ain't being faithful in this tricking game. No, that usually don't happen. I really don't believe that. You know, I'm just basing it on speculation, you know, allegedly, as they like to say. And if she is, she's tricking off to a couple of other ones. The chances of them coming forward and speaking out in his behalf are slim to none, because they're probably all married. See, this is a lifestyle that people get involved with when you don't have that level of kinkiness and that desire. I was just talking about this. You're gonna seek it somewhere, somehow. Yeah, his is on the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of level, but we have people, the everyday guy that working at one of the big boxes, his may be on a $250 level or $100 level, but still it's transactional. And I know that it supposedly is illegal. I ain't selling it, but I'm just simply saying she got greedy. She's trying to get more. But once you got into this situation and this man knows he's already established your worth to you and you've been okay with that, now you trying to ask for a raise. I don't really think that he thinks you're worth that raise, because you have pretty much a lot of times put your whole self out there for little or nothing. See, this whole thing is very tricky. You can get involved in it, but make it long term, I don't think so. We just gonna see how it's gonna play out. And I'm not on anybody's side. I'm just saying some of the same stuff that's going on in these allegations. And what's so tacky about the whole situation? Why can't this man handle his legal situation of this alleged assault, all based on his situation? Everybody want to tune in and chime in and talk about all these past allegations. Y'all stay clear of that mess. Don't confuse the situation. And I think even if they allow that type of stuff in court and they bring up these other people that's not involved in this situation, I think it should be thrown out of court. Because then you're trying to mind games in other people's heads about what else has been going on. And as far as some of those text messages, if some of y'all saw some of them, come on now. What you got in your phone? Some of y'all got even some stuff worse than that. I used to always tease with people, man, I feel sorry for the person pick up my phone and read my messages, or they looking at me while I'm scrolling through. Oh, no, you don't need to look through my phone, because people are always quick to be over there. No, you don't need to see. I always made jokes about that, but hell, I might have been serious. We don't know that. And it's funny how now everybody's so innocent, they can't believe what happened, what's about to happen. My only biggest problem with this, what I'm hearing from these older sisters in this situation, not his sister, but older ladies, I should say, that are 45, 50, 55, even 60, about that's what he get for messing with that young thing. Y'all old men, he leave these young women alone. It ain't even about that, because why at 54 years old, single, he's very successful. He's not married to nobody. He can't enjoy his life. So what? She was a hot young thing. I always say it, and I was just telling people all the time, all these women that's on these dating sites, they trying to come for me, and the first thing out their mouths is, you need to be passport ready. I'm ready to fly all over the world. And I tell them all the same thing. I tell you what, I don't even know you, but if I got to put somebody in a seat just to say we traveling together, trust me, it's gonna be a pretty young thing. I've already said that myself several times. So, ladies, you were in this position. You're an older female. A lot of y'all out here got these young cats. I made a live about that too. These 50-year-old women out here with these 25-year-old men. I don't knock it. Everybody's legal. Everybody's, consenting adults. Go for what you know. But I doubt seriously that they made reference to a certain comedian, how she was telling Shannon that he needed to get him an old woman that know how to cook for him. That man ain't ready to sit down and have his arteries clogged by all this mess that majority of us are out here eating. He's vibrant. He's running around. He's got all these businesses going for himself. And what fitting thing to have is a little young type thing. I don't really think it was nothing serious. She has let greed get in the way. That's what messing the whole situation up. She was letting greed get in the way. But I doubt seriously that somebody of his stature wants to settle down. And I'm not calling the ladies on here old that are 50, 55, but I doubt seriously he wants to settle for that right now. He's having the time of his life. He's traveling. He's got all these businesses going on. Maybe he don't want to sit around and talk about medication and grave sites and all this stuff that a lot of us, when we get to 50 and 55, 60, that's all people talking about. I just got on a buddy of mine about that. I don't know how many times I tell him, man, stop calling me with death updates. You know, that's what people do. They die. You know, just because you like to spend your week going to 3 or 4 funerals, don't bring that to me. And I'll forgive me. I ain't trying to be funny, but that ain't one of my main subjects right there. I'm living my life. Let's talk about life for a change. But anyway, back to that subject. You know, all these allegations and all these things, and this so-called attorney, whoever, I don't want to call their name. I ain't trying to get in trouble. But I don't think this attorney is the only person that's behind this. Somewhere with this young lady, she's got some dude. Hell, for all we know, it could be her own mama. We don't know. I'm just speculating. That's helped putting all this together. Because she was doing fun. She was having the time of her life. Not only was she had one of the most successful guys that on everyday social media right now as a jump off, she's probably got 2 or 3 jump offs. But the other 2 or 3 ain't gonna say nothing because they don't want to lose their livelihood and their wives and their money. It's just that simple. And I do believe a lot of these commentators that has worked closely with him that have said that they're clueless to the fact. I do believe they're telling the truth, because we can portray ourselves one way when we're at work, but deep down, oh yeah, we that dirty, we that dark seated, big time kinkster and all these things, and you know, and that may be how he deals with his day-to-day activities. He may require that. Maybe that's why he's not married. Maybe that's why a lot of us aren't married, because we don't want to get in a situation to where the person we're with is not about the lifestyle that we live. And he needs that. He desires that. I already talked about that in so many forms just the other day, that it either be a sickness or it just may be an addiction. Maybe he's addicted to just wild stuff. And I'm sure what they showed us is as clean of the messages that they could possibly find between the two of them. And even if those messages are true, some of it could have been manufactured just to be put on social media. But if it wasn't, y'all saw the messages about where the tongue is going to go and her wanting him to put black babies in her and all this stuff. But I'll be honest with y'all, that whole conversation right there, you want to turn me off. You start bringing babies into all this dirty talk, and you gonna pump a baby in me. It's an instant stop, turn off. Because if I'm feeling that good and we going that deeply in this subject and we talking about all this buck wild stuff, now you start talking about babies, turn off. And then you start wanting to try to text message me something, and I'm sending you those kind of messages that they'll send it, and then you return them with some darn emojis, turn off. So what I'm seeing, and he could have very well been doing that. We only saw a few messages, but what I'm seeing is, look like to me, it was some straightforward conversations going back and forth between each other. That's what I'm gathering. And even in that audio about, said it one more time, you're gonna make me want to choke you, whatever he said. Come on, fellas. How many of us haven't said something like that? How many of us don't know a particular one young lady that likes being choked? Does that make it right? I don't know. Depends on your situation. If y'all got their agreement, she like being choked during the time. All right, all well and fine. But for people to act like this kind of stuff don't exist, and we all just got to talk about this, the last couple of videos I did, it's funny all this is coming up. This is kind of stuff I was talking about, y'all. You know, it's all fine and good till it comes out in the light. And I think he's handled it, or his team has handled it very well by producing those messages. And some people say, well, that might not have been a good idea. Well, that man just being honest. Y'all, look, this is what's going on with that. And it looks like he's just trying his best to be honest. I don't think he really denied even knowing her. Even when she put up the whole idea of the $25,000 per cheek, I didn't see a message below there and say, girl, you crazy. I would never send you that kind of money. I didn't see that. And one of my early videos, when I said, guys, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, we all pay for it one way or another. And one of the little knuckleheads on here had something to say about that. Dude, yes, you do. You just don't know to what extent. See, when you sit down and you start unpeeling layers in this thing, you'll know that it is true with what I'm saying. And I'm not professional at this. I'm just simply saying, you know, it's quick for him. That's his quick high. We don't know. And if he just happened to just help donate or support her, then all fine and good. But she was right there with it. She was getting it. And I'm sure she wasn't getting it just from him. Cause a lady like that, come on. Come on. You out here trying to be faithful to your trick. Come on, tell me the truth now. So there's a few cases where that can actually happen. The only time I see when a woman's being faithful to her trick, when she got a husband at home, or she out here just trying to get a little extra money for her own self. And I ain't just putting the women involved, it's two parties involved. But I'm just saying in this case, I think she had a lot more people putting bad ideas in her head to go after that big payday he's about to receive. And then they allegedly, he offered $10 million for this whole thing to go away. But if he did, then so be it. He want to shut her the hell up so he can go on with his life. He don't want this to be drugged through the mud and drugged this way and that way and all these other things. Maybe he was trying to take a break from her because he started by focusing on his career and focusing on this new contract. Maybe that set her off to make her want to put this all public. But did she even think that, well, once the public find out I manufactured all this, how's it going to look on me in the long run? Yeah, she going to get some video time. She going to get on airways, but y'all know, like everything else, it's going to be gone in less than 2 weeks. As soon as they make a decision based on this. So while she was trying to up her career, she probably ran it. She's probably going to ruin it. And some people ask, well, how can somebody sleep at night when they do this to people? They can. Because evil comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Am I calling her evil? No. The situation is evil. No. Like I say, some of y'all flip through your own phones. Read your own messages. Because I know I've sent some crazy stuff. Who hasn't? His just happened to be elevated because of who he is. I don't know why people trying to find it so hard to believe, and for all these older ladies that's out here that's bashing him about. But first of all, you should have stuck with somebody of your own age. That man probably has dated women his age, around his age group, and he was still just so on the go, and they wanted to hold him and sit him down. He wasn't ready for that. He got a lifestyle. That man got a whole different kind of lifestyle. Even when he was playing football, y'all saw he was competitive. He's still competitive. So does he want to go home and sit on the couch? Maybe he ain't ready for that. He might be the type that works all day, and as soon as he sit down, he fall fast asleep. So y'all don't really know that man's backstory about why he's involved and why he was involved with this young lady and all these other things. But we all know the bottom line was it was simply transactional. That's all it was. And that's out here for the whole world to see. And now everybody's weighing in about it's a terrible thing. He shouldn't have to buy this, and he shouldn't have to pay for nothing. Like I said, one way or another, we all pay for it. But at least he was putting it up front, and she was putting it up front. There probably wasn't any smoke and mirrors. Why make it difficult? We both know what this situation is. That's just from what I've read, from what I've seen. My assumption is that's all it was. I don't really think that he assaulted her. Did he get maybe too carried away in 1-2 occasions? Maybe he did. And maybe she kept fueling the fire. Okay, yeah, do this. Yeah, I see. And that Sometimes when you think you're putting that man down and you're challenging him, all you're doing is putting more flame on that fire. So when he get a hold to her, it's gonna be a whole different ball game. Does that make it right? I don't know. I'm just simply saying. Maybe that's the understanding that they had. He finally found somebody that can match his level. And also, now she's trying to go after the pocket. I really do think that's what it is. She wants the money. It's gonna be a big money grab. I really do believe that. And if that's not the case, if he did assault her and blah, 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 yes. Deal with it through the fullest extent of the law. You know, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he's not capable. Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, Zachary, we already discussed side pieces and why Jody don't watch football. You can go back and watch some of my other videos. You can catch up on that. But you know, it's and I don't look at this as, I don't think she was his side piece because, like I said, to my knowledge, he's not married. I don't think he had anybody main. If he had a main, if he had, I don't know. And even if he did, then that makes her to jump off. And I'm sure, like I say, he's not the only one. He's not the only trick in this matter. She's probably got 2 or 3. That's how these ladies. That's how these young ladies blow up. Until it gets beyond their control, then they want to talk about it. Then they want to put it out there, and then when they bring somebody else in that has motive to try to help bring somebody else down, there's a lot of different ways to spin this situation. All I can say, we all just have to wait and see how it plays out. But don't y'all think for 1 minute this kind of stuff don't go on. It goes on every day on a lower scale. Once again, some of y'all got those same type of messages in y'all phone. Some of y'all, I wouldn't say it's the same kind, because I've seen some of the messages that come from our normal day-to-day ordinary people. And a lot of them trying to read what y'all trying to say turns me way off. You know, some people know how to be straightforward when it comes to this kind of game. You know, and that, because maybe you're not that experienced in it, but from what I saw, the little bit they showed us, oh, she was very straightforward. He was very straightforward. I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be some that comes out that may sound like he may have hurt her, and maybe he did. Like I say, maybe he got the beast. He got the beast mode one night, but then she went back. How you gonna sit here and go back if you're alleging that happened, but then you going back for seconds and thirds? What drove her back? That money. Because if money was not involved in this whole situation, and if he did abuse her, I'm quite sure she would have went straight to the police. And I'm sure that somewhere in the mix of all those text messages, she has probably reached out to him the next day and told him what he did to her, and oh, you did this to me. And he probably said something, well, you liked it, you coming back for more. And she probably said, yes, daddy, or yes, sir, or whatever. See, they haven't shown those yet. I'm just assuming that's what's out there. But if it's the other way around, and he did do all these horrible things and he abused her, still my question is, why later did you go back for more? I don't understand that. I really don't. But anyway, y'all just got to wait it out like everybody else do. But check your own phones. You know, worry about your own little freaky situations and your own jump offs and all these things. You know, this is just on a grand level. But some of these same aunties that's out here on social media putting that man down by he should have been with one of them instead of her. Come on now. Come on, ladies. Y'all serious? That man don't want y'all. Probably one day when he finally decided he want to retire, he probably already got in mind who he gonna spend the rest of his days with. But right now, that is not the card he's playing. That's not the card a lot of these wealthy men and these public figures that are single. That's not the card a lot of them are playing right now. They're enjoying themselves. That's exactly what he's doing. And he's having a good time doing it. And she was having a good time. She was counting that money, but now she got greedy. So I'm just waiting to see how that's gonna play out like everybody else. I don't think it's gonna stay in the news that long. I don't think they're gonna drag this out forever. But stuff like this, you never know. Let me see what's going on. So we'll just see. We'll just see how this plays out. But like I said, a lot of times I'll get on here, and I'm gonna keep this one short because I haven't in a while. I get on here and I'll voice my opinion, and I usually voice my opinion without my glasses because the ignorance and all that stuff don't bother me, but I don't want to get sidetracked from. If you got 40 people that's interested, then you got that one class clown. Why allow that to distract you? I've said my piece, and it's time for me to bail. Until next time. So until then, everybody have a great night.